there. I didn't see ya. What am I reading? Well, this is a zine. Zine is short for magazine, and that's what we'll be making today. This zine was made using watercolor and a single piece of paper. When you flip through, you can see I kind of decided to do a theme throughout the whole book, but you can do whatever you want. You can include a collage, you can include your natural inks, or anything else you might find outside. So when I unfold this, notice how half of the pages are upside down and half of them are right side up. So then when we fold it back into hot dog, we get this little square. We can push the square together, and that creates our front and our back. I didn't need to cut anything besides the little slit in the top of the pages there. And I'll teach you how to do that right now. So I decided to use a yellow piece of paper. You can choose whatever color you want as long as you'll be able to draw or write or paint on top of it. The size of your zine is going to depend on the size of your paper. So since this paper is a little bit longer, but not so much wide, it's probably going to have some really thin pages, but I'm okay with that. Now the first step is folding your paper hot dog style. So I'm going to fold it in half, just like that. And now I'm going to fold it this way, like that. You want to make sure your folds are nice and tight. I always use my nail of my finger, just to go over it. And then I'm going to fold it one more time in half. Alright, now you have a pamphlet that looks like this. Alright, now I'm going to unfold the entire paper. And we can already see an outline of where all of our pages are going to be. So now I want to cut right here. There is a little line in the middle, so you want to cut about the length of 2 pages across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my paper in half, take my scissors, and I'm going to cut a little niche in it there. And you can also cut a little niche in it here, just to remember where you're going to stop. Now there's 2 things you can do here. You can either unfold your entire paper, slide your scissors through, and cut along the line, or you can take your scissors and cut just the very top of your paper. So I'm going to do the second one and just cut a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of my paper off the top, just so I'm going to achieve that slit that I showed you guys earlier. Alright, let's see how it looks. Now I have a slit along the middle of a paper. It kind of looks like a mouth, and it ends here and here, so it's just in the middle. Now what I'm going to do is, since these 2 folds are going in different directions, I'm going to take this one and bring it towards me so that both of the folds are going in the same direction. Like this. And now they're both facing upwards like 2 mountains. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch the 2 folds and bring them out so I have this square, or a diamond, whatever way you look at it. And now that I have this, I'm going to pull them like so and fold it just like this. So I have my square and I'm folding it down. Once I do that, I just fold it in half, and that's one way to fold your zine. So when I flip through this, there's some pages that are going to look folded, and there's some pages that are going to be a little bit open on the bottom. If you want to, you can glue these 2 pages together so they stick. I don't mind though. There you go. So there should be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 different pages. So what I just showed you guys is a pretty standard way of how to fold a zine up. If you want to make it a different way, I'm going to show you right now how you can make one using paper and tape. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut your paper right in half. And by the way, I have a stack, so I'm going to have a bunch of pages right when I cut it, so I don't have to do them all one by one. I'm just going to right down the middle. Now that I have my paper and it's folded along the middle, it already sort of looks like a book, but the pages are all going to fall apart. So I need to do something to make them stick together. And what I'm going to do is super simple. I'm just going to tape it. So I'm going to flip my book to the back. I'm going to cut a piece of tape that's going to be a little bit longer than the book is. And then I'm just gonna lay it down, just like this. And I'm gonna bring it along the inside too. All right. So it looks good in the front and the back. It looks like we have a little book spine, just like this. But the middle kind of looks wonky. I don't want it to look that messy in the middle. So I'm just gonna put a bigger piece of tape in the middle and do the same thing, just backwards. So tape, I'm gonna put it down like this. And if it's a little messy, you can peel it up and undo it. I don't really mind just because this is for the sake of making this video. There we go. And you can repeat that as long as you want. It'll keep making your binding thicker. You can also do this if you have your pages cut. You can use the tape to connect them. But this is also a super simple and great way to do it. Just pick a color tape that you're going to like for your book or your zine. Alright guys, so I'm gonna now show you another way how to make one using a stick and a string and of course your paper. So I've done the same thing as before. I took a stack of paper and I folded it like so. And I don't have a hole puncher, so I'm going to poke holes in with my pen, maybe with the help of my scissors too. But if you have a hole puncher, definitely use it for this step. Now I've successfully poked some holes into my paper. It took a lot of hard work with a pen and some scissors, but it's definitely possible to do it that way. So now I'm gonna take my stick. It's gonna go in the middle here. I just wanna make sure I have a stick that's the size I want it to be, that lines up with my paper. So I had to break this stick in order to make it smaller, but I really like the bark on it, so that's why I picked this one. Now I'm going to take my string. I decided to use yarn for this just because it's thicker and I also like the color of it. And I'm going to put it through the first hole. You might need to either wet your string or even put it through a needle if you want to. That would also help. Now when it's in the inside of the book, I am going to put it through this other hole. Again, you might want to wet your string. And you want to pull it through the other end. Now it's a little tricky for me just because I have a really thick piece of yarn. But definitely take your time doing it. There we go. Now I'm going to repeat this on the other side. Now that I put the string through all the holes, it kind of looks like a pair of arms and legs. I can either tie it just like this and have it folded, tie it like that, and then I'd have two bows. I can also do it with ribbons so that they look a lot prettier than just yarn. Or you can even put in twist ties like these through these holes, and those will also be good to secure it. See, this ribbon I could have also put through, but I decided to use yarn because I am going to attach this stick to it. And the reason I wanted to attach this stick to it is because I want this booklet to be about plants, and I felt like a stick really went with the theme of my zine. It also creates a really stable spine for your book, which is great, so when you hold it, it's more comfortable and easier to read. So I am tying this string around just like I would tie my shoelaces. You can either tie it in a bow or a knot. I am going to choose to tie it in knots because I have a pretty short amount of string. And then when we fold our paper, it'll look just like this. All of these are great options for when you make your zine. I hope this video helped. Thank you all for watching.